Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. You know how much we love digging into the stuff that really matters. And today, we're tackling a topic that's everywhere. Free from foods.
Yeah, these free from foods
Seriously. It's like every time I go to the grocery store,
is exploding, right?
it's another product boasting about what it doesn't have.
Yeah, exactly. And
Like gluten-free this and sugar-free
you
that.
see it everywhere.
Berry-free everything.
Pretty much.
So we're going to take a deep dive into this whole free-from phenomenon. We've got some research that's going to shed some light on what's really going on.
It's going to be interesting, I think.
I think you're going to find this really interesting because
Oh, hey, I think our listeners got something to say.
Hi, it's David again. I just proposed this topic because I think it is very, very interesting. Then when you go in a supermarket or in a shop, you find, let's take a packet of biscuits, and you say, bloody hell, what I'm going to eat here if there is nothing inside, maybe some air, because it's sugar-free, gluten-free, egg-free, milk-free, dairy-free. So you are asking, I pay for that if there is nothing inside. So what do you think about this?
Hey, David, thanks for chiming in. That's a great point.
Yeah, it really highlights the paradox of these free from products.
Okay, let's unpack this a little bit.
What's fascinating here is that you're right. It feels like you're paying for less.
Exactly. It's like, where did all the ingredients go? What am I even buying?
It raises an important question about the value of these products.
And like, are they actually healthier if there's seemingly nothing left?
If we connect the
Oh, yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, and the thing is that they are even more expensive than the normal one, the fatty one and oily one and the other ones. They are more expensive. So what's the point in that? If you are not ill, if you have no a disease or something, if you are not celiac, why some people are buying these products? That's my question.
That's a really key point, David.
Yeah, you're right. It's like, not only are you getting less, but you're paying more for it.
It definitely raises a question about who these products are actually for.
And why are people who don't have any dietary restrictions still buying them?
This goes to the heart of the free from marketing strategy.
Okay, let's unpack that.
What's interesting here is that this free from trend is huge right now.
Yeah, it's like we're talking billions of dollars, and it's projected to keep growing.
But before we dig into the marketing, I want to see what you think about these labels.
Like when you see those free-from labels, do you automatically think, oh, this must be healthy?
Well, it's a powerful marketing strategy.
Oh, yeah. Go on.
Well, the thing is that they are not healthier. I mean, they are even worse than the normal ones because they have a lot of rubbish in it, if I must tell you. They are full of chemicals and other things that we don't know really if it's something bad for your health, for your body.
David, that's a really important point you're bringing up.
Yeah, it's like you're saying they're not just not better, they could be actively worse.
And that's a very common concern about some free from foods.
Okay, let's unpack this idea that free from doesn't equal healthy. In fact, sometimes the opposite.
What's fascinating here is that they often remove something, but then add other ingredients to compensate.
Exactly. Like to make up for the lack of gluten or sugar, they'll throw in fillers or artificial sweeteners.
Which, as you're suggesting, might not be the best for your body.
So they might be free from one thing, but loaded as something else that's equally bad or worse.
This free from trend is huge right now, and there's a lot of marketing behind it, but we need to look deeper.
Yeah, it's like we're talking billions of dollars, and it's projected to keep growing, but
Before we get into that, I want to see what your initial reaction to these labels is.
like when you see those free from labels, do you automatically think, oh, this must be healthy?
Well, it's a powerful marketing strategy that plays on our desire to be healthy.
Absolutely. And of course, there are cases where people really do need to avoid certain ingredients.
Like with celiac disease, as you mentioned earlier, or lactose intolerance.
Yeah, for those folks, these free from products are essential.
But for many others, there's a, hey, yeah, what's up?
Yeah, but they are made for these people who are having these diseases or whatever. Don't you think the doctor should prescribe as a doctor to prescribe these products in the same way they prescribe some medicines? Don't you think it should be this way?
David, that's a really interesting idea. It's like, why aren't these foods treated more like medicine?
It raises a fascinating point about the medicalization of food and the role of doctors in our dietary choices.
Okay, let's unpack this. It's a bit of a departure from what we were discussing about the healthiness of these free-from foods, but this is very insightful.
What's interesting here is if we think of these free-from foods as specialized, like medicine, who should be deciding when they are needed?
Exactly. And how do you make sure that those people who don't need them aren't getting caught up in a trend that might not even... Oh, yeah.
Well, that's very easy to decide. If you have an illness, you have to take these products. If you are celiac, you have to take these products. If you have an intolerance to lactose, you have to have these products, but not the other people who are healthy, because we are really bombarded with all these kind of people free. I mean, you've got thousands and thousands of free ingredients. I can tell you, it's just a bombarded things. It begins a long list: gluten-free, dairy-free, egg-free, soy-free, nut-free, sugar-free, preservatives-free, additive-free, GMO-free, lactose-free, wheat-free, corn-free, yes-free, casein-free, sesame-free, shellfish-free, fish-free, gelatin-free, palm oil-free, artificial sweetener-free, artificial flour-free, MSG-free, sulfite-free, alcohol-free, cruelty-free, fragrance-free. Do you want some more?
Okay, David, that's a really great summary of the whole free-from explosion.
Yeah, it really highlights how many options are out there and how overwhelming it can be.
And it really does seem like if you have a medical need, then those products are there to meet that need.
But if not, it raises the question of why the rest of us are even paying attention.
Absolutely. It's like, why are...
Go for it.
Yeah. But to make sure that you got the list right, could you repeat the list just to make sure that you got it right? Thank you.
Okay, David, that's a great question. And absolutely, we can go over that list again to make sure we got it all right.
Yes, it's a very long list, and it's easy to miss something.
So if we could just backtrack a bit. We were just talking about how overwhelming it is to navigate all of the different free-from options.
Yeah, that long list really highlights how many options are out there.
So let's just go through that list again just to be sure we captured it all, and then we can get back to our conversation.
Perfect, and it'll give us a chance to really let that sink in before we continue.
Yes.
Okay, so you said gluten-free, dairy-free, egg-free, soy-free,
Sugar-free, preservative-free, and GMO-free.
lactose-free, casein-free, shellfish-free,
Fish-free, gelatin-free, palm oil-free,
artificial sweetener-free, artificial color-free, MSG-free,
sulfite-free, alcohol-free, quality-free.
growth review-free, and fragrance-free.
Yeah, that really is a lot when you put it all together like that.
It really is. And it makes you wonder why we are so bombarded with all of that.
Absolutely. It feels like we're being marketed to, even if the product isn't intended for us.
Now, I want to get back to the idea of the labels themselves.
Oh, yeah. Let's hear it.
If we cannot take the doctor.
Okay, David, thanks for that little interjection.
It sounds like you are really agreeing with our point.
And it's a good time to get back to our discussion on those labels.
Yes, because that...
Yeah, so what we are going to do to avoid all these bombarded things and marketing thing, please, because it's getting everywhere in all the products, even in orange. We're going to have a sugar-free orange, or in fruit, in vegetables. My God, this is getting crazy.
David, that's a really important question.
Yeah, it's definitely something we need to address.
Okay, so it sounds like you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, like the free-from marketing is unavoidable.
And you're right, this is not just about cookies and processed foods anymore.
It's everywhere. Even in things like fruit and vegetables, it feels a bit absurd.
It raises the question of what we can actually do as consumers.
Okay, let's unpack this because it's really important to move from just noticing the problem to finding some strategies to navigate it.
Absolutely. We've talked a lot about how confusing these... Go on.
Before going forward to this topic, which is very, very interesting, can I ask you if you are allergic to something, to some food, to some products? Are you allergic yourself?
That's a great question, David.
Yeah, it's really important to understand our own relationship with these things.
Well, I personally don't have any allergies myself,
And I don't have any diagnosed allergies either.
but it does make me more aware of how important free from foods are. Oh, back to our listener.
Yeah,
What's up?
you see, because you are healthy people. So you don't need all these kind of products, all these free from products. They are very expensive and they are rubbish. So people like you have the power for that. Thank you.
David, that's a really interesting perspective.
Yeah, it's like you're saying that our position of not having allergies gives us a different lens,
It's true. It does highlight the privilege of not needing these specialized products.
and that can definitely impact how we perceive them.
What's fascinating here is that you're. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and now I'm going to ask you, after knowing that you are not allergic to these products, have you tried any of these products? Have you tried any time some cookies or something free from something? I don't know.
That's a great question, David. It's definitely relevant to this whole conversation.
Yeah, it's like we've been talking about all these free from options, and it's fair to wonder if we've actually tried them ourselves.
Well, personally, I have tried some gluten-free products.
Oh, yeah.
You see?
Yeah, mostly out of curiosity and just because they were offered at a friend's house, for example.
You see,
Yeah, uh-huh.
In Spain we say the I don't know the phrase.
That's interesting, David. It sounds.
Oh,
Yeah,
go for
I
it.
was to say, I wanted to say that here in Spain we say the curiosity kills the cat. So that's why you tried gluten-free bread, because you are curious about it. So that's the problem nowadays, you see?
Okay, David, that's a really interesting saying.
Yeah, it really connects to what we were just discussing.
It's like you're saying our curiosity about gluten-free products led us to try them.
And in a way, that curiosity is driving the free from market.
That's a very insightful point. We hadn't thought about it like that before.
What's fascinating here is that the saying itself does bring up an important point about awareness.
Exactly. It's a good reminder to be mindful of why we are trying these products.
But I did want to quickly finish my thought.
Oh, yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, and have you tried some biscuits? Free biscuits, everything?
Okay, David, that's a great follow-up question.
Yeah, it's like you're wanting to know the full extent of our free from experiences.
Well, to finish my thought, I've definitely tried some gluten-free biscuits, yes.
Yeah.
course.
And I've had some sugar-free cookies.
And it's funny how different the experience can be with these products.
Absolutely. Some of them were quite nice and others were, well, not so much.
It really highlights that just because it's free from, it's not a guarantee of taste.
Yeah, it's not like everything free from is automatically terrible.
Exactly. So we have tried some free from things.
And we're just trying to approach this whole trend with open minds.
Okay. And before we get too far off track.
Absolutely, because you were about to say that some gluten-free things have been good.
Yeah, and others not so great, as we just said.
Exactly. And I have to say, some of them were pretty good.
While others were not so great, as we've discussed.
Oh, okay, David. It sounds like you were about to say something there.
Yeah, it's like you were starting to make a point about the Spanish word.
Maybe you were about to tell us what the C is in Spanish, which is el or la.
But before we get into that, we should acknowledge that we did ask you a question.
Right, we were about to get to our experience with free from products.
So we can definitely get back to your the in just a moment.
Absolutely. So I was saying that I tried some gluten-free products,
Right, and mostly it was out of curiosity.
and I have actually tried a few things as well.
Oh, yeah, Lee.
Yeah, like some dairy-free ice cream.
Exactly. And I've also had some sugar-free things.
Yeah, I know that experience. I've definitely had some cookies like that.
It highlights.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
Go on.
God, oh my God. You are really hooked to these products. Ice creams, biscuits, gluten-free bread. Oh my God, you are completely hooked to these products.
Okay, David, it sounds like you're surprised by how much we've tried these free from foods.
Yeah, it's funny how it can seem like we're completely immersed in them when you list it all out.
We definitely understand how it might seem that we are worked on all of these products.
And I think what's important to remember is this has been out of a sense of curiosity and experimentation.
Exactly. We wanted to try them ourselves so we can understand what we're talking about.
It highlights the fact that these products can be a mixed bag.
Yeah, and it reminds us that just because it's free from something doesn't mean it's automatically good.
Exactly. And it kind of underlines your point, David.
So, yeah, we have tried some free from foods. And like you said, it's helpful to think about our own experiences.
And what did you think?
I mean, they definitely tasted different than a regular ice cream.
I think that's a common thing, as we were saying.
It's like they're made to be a substitute, not a replica.
Okay, and now what was that you were about to tell us about?
We're ready when you are, and then we can dig back into labels and all that.
Now, getting back to what we were discussing before, you're right.
Like, we might not be as concerned about the price or the quality.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, you're absolutely right.
We do have a certain kind of power.
But I want to make it clear that we are also trying to be mindful of this.
Absolutely. It's not about dismissing the need for these products.
It's about understanding the marketing and not making assumptions.
Yeah, and it is definitely something that we're continuing to explore.
This has been a really insightful conversation. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. Hey, yeah, what's up?
Yeah, and then there are another range of products which they are adding some other products, some other qualities. I mean, for instance, calcium, milk with calcium, milk with vitamins B, vitamin C, in all the juice, orange juice with vitamins. I mean, the supermarket is just getting crazy. You need a degree on chemical. You know what I mean? In chemistry.
Okay, David, that's a really interesting point you're bringing up.
Yeah, it's like now we're not just talking about what's being removed, but also what's being added.
Exactly. It's not just free from, it's also added to. And the supermarkets do feel a little crazy these days.
And you're right, you almost need a chemistry degree to decipher these labels now.
Okay, let's unpack that a little bit because we've been focusing on what's removed, but this is a really important addition.
What's fascinating here is that it adds another layer to the marketing strategy.
Like now they're not just selling free from, but they're also selling fortified with.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, all these added vitamins and minerals give the impression of even more health benefits.
Like they're not just removing the bad stuff, they're also adding the good stuff, or at least they claim to be.
This whole thing does raise an important question about whether all these additions are really necessary.
Yeah, and whether they're even effective. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, The thing is, if we carry on this way, I don't know how it's going to be the supermarket in 10 years. Oh my God, it's going to be crazy to buy just an apple. It's going to be impossible to find an apple, to find a piece of fruit. It's going to be impossible because you're going to have plenty of packaging with things free and more added products. So that's really, really getting crazy.
Okay, David, that's a really powerful point you're making.
Yeah, it's like you're painting a picture of a supermarket future.
Where finding something natural and simple is impossible.
And you're right, it does feel like it's getting to that point now.
All this extra packaging, these free from and added to things are taking over.
It raises a really important question about the long-term effects of this.
Okay, let's unpack this idea of the future of the supermarket because this is a great point to make.
What's fascinating here is that you're highlighting the absurdity of it.
Like we're so focused on what's missing or added, we might forget actual food.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the free from trend is only one part of the puzzle.
We've also got all this fortified stuff, and it's like all the food is getting changed.
And it does raise an important question of whether any of these additions are necessary.
Yeah, or if we were just paying more for something that might not make any difference.
But before we get too deep into that, I wanted to thank you, David, for all of your insights.
Yes, thank you, David. It's been fantastic having you be part of the show.
Oh, go for it.
Before you go, because I think you want to go, do you think we can put some ban on these products just to make sure that there is no more free from food in the supermarket? Do you think we can develop some kind of law in for prohibiting this kind of food? What do you think about that?
That's a really thought-provoking question, David.
Yeah, it's like you're asking, can we just make these free from products go away?
It raises some interesting points about regulation and consumer choice.
Okay, let's unpack that because it is a bit of a leap from what we've been discussing.
What's fascinating here is it shifts the conversation from individual choices to the role of government.
Right, it's not just about what we buy, but what's even allowed to be sold.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it really does make you think about how much control we should have on the food market.
And it's a really interesting debate. How far do you go to protect people?
So it definitely raises some important questions about how we create a food system.
Because while these products are a response to a market demand, you're right, they do seem to be getting out of hand.
But before we dig too far into the idea of banning these foods,
And before we get to the end of the show,
I wanted to thank you again, David, for all your thoughts today.
Yes, thank you, David. It's been amazing having you be part of the show.
And thanks to you for listening. We love having you here, and we'll be back again next time.
And we hope that you'll come back again, too. It really means a lot to us, and we love when you join in.
This has been a truly insightful conversation.
We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
Thank you.